The Pacific Farmer Organizations is a membership network of 31 farmer organizations across 14 countries and territories in the Pacific. So we cover both the North and the South Pacific, and we have a reach of over 100,000 farmers through our network, and 55% of that network of the farmers in those farmer organizations are women. 30% are youth. As to, given the demographics, as to what our challenges are within family farming in the Pacific, the big one is climate change. We are surrounded by so much water, so rising sea levels, the severity of cyclones and natural disasters has intensified. So that's one of our big challenges, and we are addressing that, or our farmers are addressing that. And the other is youth in agriculture. Although we have a population that is quite heavily focused on youth, youth in agriculture is a challenge for us. So these are two big challenges for us moving forward, given that family farmers are so important. They're crucial to food and nutritional security throughout the world, not just the Pacific. As to what we're doing at the regional level, we're in collaboration with a number of parties, including Asian Farmers Association, and there's a proposal that's currently being developed to look at climate finance going directly to the farmer. If you look at recent statistics, over $1 trillion is directed towards climate finance, but less than 1% goes to the farmer. So when the farmers have the solutions, particularly in the area of climate change adaptation, and they're not being supported, we need to mobilize funds for them. So for us at the regional level, through donor partners, European Union, the ACP, IFAD, FAO, we've managed to mobilize $1.6 million to support their efforts. But of course, that's not sufficient for what they're having to go through. So we're seeking investment to support their efforts on the ground. So the proposal that I mentioned earlier is looking at getting funds directly to the farmer so they can continue to deliver on the solutions that they've come up with themselves to promote the biodiversity as well as build greater resilience for themselves. As for family farming organizations in the region, we have the regional one, which is Pacific Farmer Organizations, and then in all the countries in which we have members, they have a number of farmer organizations. Some may have just the one, but then there are multiple farmer organizations in some of them. Each of our 31 farmer organizations is so very unique in what they do, so it just adds to what we are as an organization. It's a real family. As to what we do in regard to policy, we work at the regional level to support our farmers. So there was a recent program, MTCP2, and that moved into FO for ACP, which is Farmer Organizations for Africa, the Caribbean and Pacific. And what we've managed to do there is build capacity in the area of policy advocacy. So at the regional level, that's what we do for our farmers. We build their capacity so they're able to push for policy in their respective countries. So some of our farmer organizations have been very successful in the area of women empowerment policies. There's some who've supported production for their farmers. In fact, one of our farmer organizations in Tonga was very successful in ensuring that foreign investment was directed towards processing so that the production line was maintained by local farmers. So they worked together for the whole value chain rather than giving a blanket offer to foreign investors to take over the value chain, so to speak. That in a nutshell is what we do. Primarily, we build capacity for our farmer organizations to do what they have to do to raise the voices of their farmers. So Pacific Farmer Organizations, as I said, is a regional organization. We're working with our sister organizations, Asian Farmers Association. And what we're doing is is working on a proposal collectively, also with partners, the World Rural Forum, IFAD and FAO. So we're proposing to have a climate resilient fund that is directed to farmer organizations and farmers. As I mentioned earlier, we mobilized climate funds for our farmers in the Pacific, but it's not enough. For the work that they need to do, for what we ask of them by way of promoting food and nutritional security, promoting biodiversity and building greater resilience, they still need so much more support. And so our efforts are directed towards working with our partners to build this fund or propose for this fund to happen. I shared earlier about the statistics. Less than 1% of total global climate funding goes to the farmer, and we want to change that. The Pacific governments have been heavily involved in the United Nations Decade of Family Farming. Our FOs have worked closely with governments in this area. They're doing their part to promote food and nutritional security and improve the incomes of farmers. And what we're doing is simply supporting them as best we can to build their capacity so that they can better serve the farmers.